Welcome back. Let's have a look at the shrine this week. I can see we have Iron Maiden, Object of Obsession, Streetwise, and Surveillance. Now, some of these are actually really amazing perks. Other ones are not so great. If we're going to have a little bit of a look here, Iron Maiden is an okay perk. It's going to allow the Huntress to reload hatchets faster. It really helps with barbecue and chili. So have you ever used barbecue and chili and know that survivors can hide with their locker plays by jumping in the locker while you hook somebody? Well, with this, when they come out of the locker, they're going to scream, revealing their location for 4, 5, and 6 seconds while giving them also exposure status. So if you can get to them, such as a nurse, and you M1 them once, they don't go down straight away. It's very good to give you knowledge if you know that they're going to think you have barbecue and chili. For example, the problem here is Leatherface can get knowledge out of running Iron Maiden. It allows you to search lockers 30, 40, and 50% quicker. The only problem with Leatherface using it will be he doesn't have map pressure and mobility to get around the board. Realistically, the Billy has 230 movement speed, but generally if somebody comes out of the locker, they're going to have a pallet near them, and you're not going to be able to do much. The only real person it's going to help a lot is going to be either the nurse or the doctor. People go in lockers to stop building up madness against the doctor. This is going to allow you to track them down as well. It's not a bad perk. You can run it on the Huntress as well if you want to reload 50% quicker, but there's a yellow add-on that'll allow you to reload even faster anyway, so it doesn't really matter too much. It's an okay perk, don't get me wrong. If I were to run it, I'd run it with barbecue and chili, pop goes the weasel, maybe make your choice or disordinance on the nurse. That's generally what I would do as well. In terms of other things, if we're going to cycle down to the next perk here, we got Object of Obsession. Now, I don't use Iron Maiden a lot, chat, so those numbers might be a tiny bit off, but that's just what I'm pretty sure it is. Might be a little wrong. If we're going to have a look here at Object of Obsession, now this is both a beauty and a curse. This allows you to see the killer, and the killer can see you. So when you turn your camera looking at the killer, he's going to glow pink, but if he is glowing pink, it means you're glowing pink, right? If you go in a locker, it cancels all. It gives you blindness, so it cancels all aura reading. You can't see him, and he can't see you. Once he gets close enough to you, in heartbeat, you won't be able to see him, and he won't be able to see you, so you have to try and hide and evade him, but he can just step out of heartbeat and track you down if you're in a really, really bad area. Object of Obsession is really good against people like the Pig, if she's crouch walking around the map. Really good against the Wraith while he's cloaked, moving at 126.5%. You can run around massive loops far away from him, and it's going to cost him too much time to chase you. And that you're not even going to be using the jungle gyms as well. It could be good against quite a few killers. It could be annoying against a trapper who's prepping. It could be annoying against a hag who's prepping. However, as Freddy Krueger, if somebody has Object of Obsession and they look at you, they can't see you, but you can see them unless they're asleep. So don't put them to sleep and you're going to know where they always are, because they're not going to know where to look, because their lullaby isn't directionable. So it can be really good if you're Freddy Krueger versing people with this. Object is generally a high skill kind of perk. Not many people run it. If you are running Object, generally people will be running things like Metal at Man, Dead Hard, Adrenaline, even DS, something along these lines to help keep them up a little bit longer, maybe an instant heal. It's a pretty sweaty, high tier, high reward, high risk, high reward kind of perk. It's not bad, it's not great. I would run it now and then, but I wouldn't recommend it. Moving on to the next perk, this is Streetwise. Now, Streetwise is a Nia perk unlocked at level 40. It is not that great. I believe it is 10, 12, and then 15% less item consumption. So that's for your whole team around you, right? So it is an aura reading perk. Not an aura reading perk, sorry. It's an aura perk that gives you a benefit. So much like Leader, or Vigil, if you walk in your teammate's radius, I believe, which is 8 meters, and then leave it, you're going to have the buff on you for 15 seconds. So if your teammate's running past and you're searching a chest, you're going to get the buff when you finish going through the chest. It's going to be on you. It's good for things like Leader as well. I do not rate this perk. I think it's really bad, because if you're looking at 15% consumption rate on a slot, when you could take Borrowed Time, you could take Adrenaline, you could take Iron Will, it's not really that good. It's good for your whole team, but very rarely should you be grouped up. That's why Prove Thyself in theory is good, but at the same time, you shouldn't be grouping up, because it's going to put you at a much more disadvantage when it comes down to the killer comes in, then he kicks it with pop, or the killer knows where multiple targets are. You generally want to divide and conquer and split pressure in multiple different areas. It does work similar to the instructions add-ons on a toolbox that you can run. So you can run instructions and socket swivel, instructions and wire spool, or you can run wire spool and socket swivel, and then this add-on, and now you pretty much have 3 add-ons on your toolbox, and you have a really good toolbox. Not bad. It could be good on a map as well, for less channeling time. If you got like a rainbow map, then you can run add-ons to make the map last longer as well. I don't rate it personally. If you want to get it, by all means, it's not going to really help your team too much. Surveillance. Now, Surveillance is a bit of an interesting one. This recently, a couple of months ago, got a bit of a rework. that rework is now when you kick a generator, it will glow white inevitably until it hits 0%, right? So if it's 90% done, it'll glow white all the way until it hits 0, then it will go back to the default reddish orange color, okay? If a survivor touches the generator, it will glow yellow. It's a really neon yellow, really limey green kind of color. It will glow that color and make a noise giving you a notification of where a survivor is. Yes, it is a different color to Discordance. They are two distinguishable colors. You can run both this and Discordance. I was doing it on my nurse with Barbecue and Pop. It's not a bad perk if you think you're versing people that are using Urban Evasion or are gonna touch Jennies and hide, it can be really good. If you're like a Billy with Surveillance and Pop, and you chainsaw across the map, you kick it, boom, you rotate. I personally would rather Discordance. That way you can know where two people are, chainsaw across, pop, make your movement in accordance to that kind of playstyle. It's not bad, it's not great, it can be good on the pig, but if you're running this, then a lot of pigs will generally run Whispers, and they'll kick a generator, they'll walk away, they'll crouch, and they'll just wait for the guy to come back, and then ambush him. You could do the same thing on this. I don't recommend that kind of playstyle on pig. I would recommend Discordance more so, maybe Enduring, save the best for last, so you can recover quicker, or even make your choice in there, and then maybe Ruin to slow down the game. That's what I kind of recommend on the pig. That way, you know you're always going to get bang for your buck. You always know you're pathing in your rotation as well, when there's multiple people on generators. So guys, that is going to complete the shrine for this week. As you can see, it is a pretty disappointing week on the shrine. If I can recommend any perk, if you are a very good survivor, you would probably have Object of Obsession unlocked already because you would have been trying to max out. The only real perk I can say here is great is Object of Obsession. If you're going to be playing Nurse or Doctor, Iron Maiden, you can run out on the Huntress, but you're probably better off with Sloppy Butcher, so your hatchets slow down the healing, making somebody take 40 seconds to heal rather than 32. And Surveillance is okay. I wouldn't recommend touching Streetwise. Surveillance is cute, don't get me wrong. It can be good on mice too if you have Modern Abuse and you have a very tiny heartbeat. Tier 2, 16 meter heartbeat, down to 8 meters. Dead Rabbit, 6 meter heartbeat. Kick a Jenny, walk around the corner, out of 6 meters. Somebody touches it, come back, pop tier 3, down him. There's ways to make it work. But that's the shrine for this week, guys. Hopefully with a bit of luck, we'll get a better shrine next week. So guys, much love, and come visit me live here on Twitch.